Imagine a village once vibrant and bustling, now shrouded in whispers of scandal. The whispers started as a faint rustle, like leaves stirred by a gentle breeze. But with every passing day they grew louder, echoing through the marketplace, the fields, the riverbanks, and the sacred grove. Malaika, the chief's daughter, was pregnant, and the father was none other than Kwame, a young man from a poor background, a farmer. Their love, once a secret shared under the moonlight, was now a scandal that threatened to upend the very fabric of their society. This was a love that dared to defy traditions, expectations, and the unspoken rules that held the village together. The whispers weren't just about Malaika and Kwame's defiant love. They spoke of the shame, the scandal, the taboo. The whispers painted pictures of a future where societal norms crumbled, where the sacred bonds of marriage were discarded like old, worn-out clothes. The whispers were as much about fear as they were about scandal. Fear of change, fear of the unknown, fear of a world where love dared to defy the rules. Malaika and Kwame's love story had become the village's favorite tale. A story told and retold with every passing day. It was a story that fascinated and repulsed. A story that was as captivating as it was scandalous. The whispers of their forbidden love were like a wildfire that threatened to consume the village, leaving behind a landscape forever altered. The whispers grew so loud that they drowned out the sounds of everyday life. The drumming at festivals, the laughter of children, the chatter of the marketplace, all were lost in the cacophony of scandal. The village was no longer a place of joy and celebration, but a theater of whispers, judgment, and condemnation. And as the whispers grew louder, Malaika and Kwame's dreams of escape began to crumble. Their plans, once as solid as the ancient baobab tree, now seemed as fragile as a castle of sand, ready to be swept away by the tiniest gust of wind. In the face of societal judgment, Malaika and Kwame's escape plans crumbled like a castle of sand. Between the whispers and the confrontation, Malaika and Kwame grappled with the unseen consequences of their love. The whispers of scandal had not yet reached their ears, their world still enclosed within the bubble of their love. They met in secret, under the ancient baobab tree, their whispers of love drowned out by the rustle of the leaves. They spoke of dreams and hopes, of a future where they could be together, free from societal constraints. They spoke of their unborn child, their beacon of hope and change, the symbol of their love. Our child will be a symbol of our love, a beacon of change and hope, Kwame whispered into Malaika's ear, his voice filled with conviction. But as they planned their future, they were oblivious to the storm that was brewing. Unseen to them, the whispers of scandal had begun to spread like a wildfire, consuming the village in its wake. The once vibrant village was now a theater of whispers, each word a dagger aimed at their love. The unseen consequences of their love were beginning to take shape, casting a long dark shadow over their dreams. As they held each other close, lost in their world of dreams, they were oblivious to the whispers that were slowly tearing their world apart. As they planned their escape, their dreams of a future together seemed within reach. But the unseen consequences of their love were lurking in the shadows, ready to shatter their dreams. To travel with Kwame and Malaika's journey of forbidden love, like share with others, subscribe and ring the notification bell. In the heart of the storm, a confrontation awaited Malaika, one that would shatter her heart. As the whispers of scandal swelled into a deafening roar, Malaika found herself standing before her mother, the woman who had nurtured her, now a figure of righteous indignation. "Malaika," her mother began, her voice trembling with a mix of anger and disbelief, "how could you bring such shame upon us, upon yourself?" The words hung heavy in the air, a palpable tension that seemed to suck the air out of the room. Malaika, her heart pounding in her chest, tried to speak, to explain, but the words wouldn't come. The love she felt for Kwame, so pure and true, was now tainted with the bitter taste of disdain in her mother's eyes. She loved him, yes, but not at the cost of losing her family and honor. But what was honor, she wondered, if it meant denying her heart? Her mother's words stung like a swarm of bees, each accusation a sharp sting that left her reeling. "You've betrayed us, Malaika," her mother continued, her voice rising with each word. "You've betrayed your father, your tribe, and yourself." Malaika felt her heart fracture, a deep crack that threatened to split her in two. The love she had for Kwame was real as the baby growing inside her. But now, she was being forced to choose between that love and her family duties. a choice that seemed impossible to make. With each word, each accusation, the chasm between Malaika and her mother grew wider. The woman who had once held her close, who had whispered lullabies into her ear, was now a stranger. Malaika felt a deep, searing pain in her heart, a pain that was far greater than any physical wound. And as her mother turned away from her, Malaika knew that her life, as she knew it, was over. She was no longer the innocent girl who had once danced under the African sun. She was now a woman, marked by scandal, carrying a forbidden love in her womb. The chief, Malaika's father, was a volcano of fury waiting to erupt. As the news of his daughter's pregnancy reached his ears, it was as if a seismic wave had struck the very core of his being. The chief, a man of stern principle and unwavering tradition, was rocked by the scandal that threatened to topple his family's esteemed reputation. Malaika's father was not just a man, but a symbol of authority, of power, of honor. His word was law and his actions an example for the villagers. But this was a blow that pierced through the armor of his stoic demeanor, revealing a father's despair and a chief's wrath. The whispers of the village had turned into a deafening roar, and amidst the chaos he was left grappling with the shards of his shattered pride. In this whirlwind of emotions, the chief's fury found its target: Kwame, the man who had dared to defy tradition, to ensnare his daughter in a web of forbidden love, and to put a blemish on the family's honor. With a furious heart and a fiery eyes, the chief banished Kwame, his siblings, parents, uncle, and family from the village. A decision that echoed through the hearts of every villager, a decision that was as much about retribution as it was about protection. But the chief's decisions did not end there. In a desperate attempt to salvage what was left of his family's honor, he arranged for Malaika's marriage to Mr. Mabwe, an elderly man, a man of respect, a man who could not provide an heir to his family despite having 2 wives, a man who could help reforge the broken links of their societal standing. It was a decision born out of necessity, a decision that was as much about survival as it was about honor. The chief's decision cast a long shadow over the village, a stark reminder of the consequences of forbidden love. A shadow that would linger, that would remind them of the cost of passion and defiance, a shadow that was a testament to the power of love and the power of decision-making. Kwame, banished and isolated, was a man bearing the weight of the world. In the unforgiving landscape of exile, Kwame found himself grappling with the stark realities of his new existence. He was a pariah, cast out from the only home he had ever known, bearing the brunt of societal judgment for a love that dared defy convention. Yet it was not the physical isolation that weighed heaviest on Kwame, but the emotional turmoil of being torn from Malaika. His heart ached for her, longing for the touch of her hand, the sound of her laughter, the sparkle in her eyes. Despite the distance, his love for Malaika remained as steadfast as the day they had first met. His heart refused to let go, refused to forget, and most importantly, refused to compromise. Love was not a switch to be turned on and off at will, and Kwame had no intention of betraying his feelings for Malaika. The pressure to marry and continue the family line was a constant, gnawing reminder of his responsibilities. His parents, his uncle, they all expected him to adhere to tradition, to find a wife and start a family. Kwame eventually got married, but his marriage yielded no children. A suggestion of a second wife was even broached, a concept that was common in their culture. Yet Kwame remained resolute. He would not marry a second wife out of obligation. He would not bring a child into the world out of duty. His heart belonged to Malaika and their child born out of love, now answering to another man's name. His unwavering stance, though admirable, intensified the concerns about his family's lineage. His parents and uncle were left grappling with uncertainty, their hopes and expectations dashed against the harsh rocks of reality. In a world that demanded adherence to tradition, Kwame chose to defy, to stand his ground, all for the sake of love. Kwame's stance intensified the concerns about the family's lineage, leaving his parents and uncle grappling with uncertainty. As the sun set on the once vibrant village, uncertainty loomed on the horizon. Malaika, the village chief's daughter, now found herself in the throes of turmoil. The whispers of scandal, the confrontation with her mother, the chief's decision, all of it had culminated into a tumultuous storm that threatened to uproot her life. Beneath the shadow of her impending marriage to Mr. Mabwe, Malaika's heart yearned for Kwame. Yet the societal norms and family expectations bound her. The chief's decision to marry her off to Mr. Mabwe was not just an attempt to salvage honor. He was also determined to prevent Malaika from giving birth to an illegitimate child in his household. fueling his desperate actions. The decision had cast a darkness over Malaika's once vibrant existence, turning her world into a bleak landscape. Malaika was wedded to Mr. Mabwe, a man twice her age, who already had 2 wives, thus making Malaika his 3rd spouse. Reluctantly, Malaika entered into matrimony with Mr. Mabwe to pacify her father's wrath and extricate herself from her parental home. She acquiesced to this facade of a marriage, convinced that she had lost Kwame forever after his banishment into exile. The repercussions of their forbidden love story began to materialize. Malaika was wedded to an elderly man while Kwame and his kin were sent to exile. As the future teeters on uncertainty, one pivotal question lingers. Can love prevail against societal dictates and familial pressures? Amidst the myriad of stakeholders involved, the answer remains elusive. With Malaika wedded to Mr. Mabwe and Kwame relegated to exile, Malaika's parents eased their vigilance over her whereabouts, as she was now under Mr. Mabwe's care as his spouse. In her moments of sorrow, Malaika would often retreat to their old secret meeting spot with Kwame to pour out her heartache and reminisce about their cherished moments together. Visiting their clandestine rendezvous, she felt a deep spiritual connection to Kwame, finding solace in the memories they shared. Across the world, Kwame found solace in a similar manner, seeking closeness to Malaika in spirit by visiting their cherished secret meeting place. Sitting amidst memories of their time together, he yearned for the chance to see her once more, to hold her in his arms and relive the moments they shared. As if orchestrated by the universe itself, a day arrived when fate intervened to reunite them. By some divine coincidence, they both found themselves at their secret meeting place simultaneously, after 5 long years apart. The shock of seeing each other again after so long filled them with overwhelming emotion. Their love reignited with an intensity that belied the 5 years of separation. It was as if time had stood still, and they found themselves lost in each other's presence once more. There was a profound longing to reconnect, to bridge the gap that had kept them apart for so long. Yet in this moment, words seemed inadequate to express the depth of their emotions. It was time for their bodies to speak the language of longing and desire. As the evening wore on, they realized that it was time for words, but the hour was late, and they knew they had to part ways once more. However, this time they parted with a promise to meet again. Their reunion unfolded beneath the watchful gaze of their beloved old baobab tree. Its gnarled branches and leaves seemed to smile down upon the reunited lovers as if rejoicing in their long-awaited embrace. The very surroundings that had borne witness to their pain during their separation now seemed to exude joy at their reunion. In the serene embrace of the ancient baobab tree, Kwame and Malaika nurtured their forbidden love in the shelter of secrecy. Despite the stifling pressure of societal norms and the constant fear of exposure, their covert meetings became a sanctuary of hope in a tumultuous world. Their connection, forged through trials and tribulations, stood unwavering, a testament to the enduring strength of their affection. Beneath the tree's timeless branches, they shared stolen moments of intimacy, their hearts entwined in defiance of convention and obligation. Though both were bound in marriage to others, their love knew no bounds. Unfazed by the threat of death, by stoning a consequence of adultery in their society, they continued to meet regularly, seeking solace and secrecy beneath the protective branches of the baobab tree. With caution and skill, they concealed their affair for years, leading to the birth of 2 more children born from their clandestine meetings. While Mr. Mabwe suspected his wife of infidelity, he never fathomed that it was with Kwame. Their forbidden love thrived in secrecy, shielded by Mr. Mabwe's reluctance to acknowledge his own shortcomings, the inability to bear children. Despite his inability to bear children, he willingly accepted Malaika's offspring from the affair as his own, covering his shame, and thereby giving Kwame and Malaika's love another layer of protection. Their love story became the story of legends among the ancient baobab trees, who bore witness to countless stories of love over the ages. Their love was boundless. Kwame had not kept his promise for meeting for some days. Stricken and enveloped in profound loneliness, Malaika found herself drawn to their secret meeting place every day. Each step she took towards their clandestine rendezvous was a step imbued with hope. Hope that she would find Kwame there, waiting for her. She would sit beneath the broad branches of the old baobab tree, their silent witness, reminiscing their stolen moments of love and yearning. Her eyes, filled with despair, scanned the horizon for a sign of Kwame, Every rustle of the leaves, every bird that took flight kindled a flicker of hope in her heart, only to be extinguished by the relentless passage of time. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. 2 long, excruciating months passed, and there was still no word or sign of Kwame. The once vibrant and lively Malaika was now a silhouette of melancholy, her spirit dampened by the ceaseless wait. Her heart ached with the pain of uncertainty. Her mind was plagued with questions that no one could answer. Where was Kwame? Was he safe? Why hadn't he come back? The torment of not knowing was unbearable. Every evening she would return from their meeting place, her heart heavy with disappointment, her eyes welling up with unshed tears. But she was not ready to give up. Kwame was her love, her life, and she would move heaven and earth to find him. As the sun set, casting a golden hue on the village, Malaika vowed to continue her vigil. She had to find out what happened to Kwame. She had to unravel the mystery of his disappearance. But for now, she had to return home, back to the man she was forced to call husband. To find out what happened to Kwame, and to follow Malaika's relentless vigil, like, share, subscribe, and ring the notification bell for episode 3. Stay tuned to unravel the mysteries of love, sacrifice, and undying hope.